This is Scott Becker with the Becker Private Equity Podcast. Today's episode is The Markets Point Up plus 12 more stories. Thank you for listening to the Becker Private Equity Podcast. If you listen to this all the way through and you text me at 773-766-5322, and you're the first person to do so, and you haven't claimed the gift certificate in a long time, we will send you the $100 Amazon gift certificate for being a key listener today. Thank you for listening. So, first story today is the markets point up today for what seems like the first time in a couple weeks. And we'll see if that lasts. We hope it lasts. Again, we'll see how that goes. But the markets are up 0.5% to a percentage point. It seems like a while since that's been the case. Second story today. The four largest companies by market cap in the country. Apple number one at $2.7 trillion. Microsoft number two at $2.545 trillion. Google number three at $1.71 trillion. And Amazon number four at $1.3 trillion. Those are the four largest by market cap. The four largest by revenues. Walmart at $630 billion. Amazon at $538 billion. Berkshire Hathaway at $400 billion. And Apple at $383 billion. Those are the four largest by revenues. You've got some overlap there. Apple being the one company that is first in market cap, fourth in revenues. Amazon, fourth in market cap, second in revenues. The four largest companies by earnings. This is Berkshire Hathaway, number one, Apple, number two, Microsoft, number three, and Google number four. So Microsoft number two in market cap, number three in earnings. These things should line up pretty closely because market cap and earnings should go pretty closely together, but with different growth margins on the different things and so forth. The next story following today, United Health Group, 10th in market cap, 6th in revenues, 11th in earnings. $27 billion a year in earnings, $350 billion a year in revenues. Market cap, it's 10th, $483 billion. Fifth, the four most listened to guests on the Becker's Private Equity Podcast, Rick Kess and Matt Wolf, 1 and 2 from RSM, the great accounting consulting firm. Third, Nicholas Shull, the son of David Shull, and one of the leaders of the Gator Student Investment Fund at the University of Florida. Fourth, Julie Yu and Andreessen Horowitz. And Andreessen Horowitz is probably the most fascinating VC fund in the world. As a side note, David Pivnik, Amber Walsh, Holly Buckley, all leaders at McGuire Woods, all in the top 10 with the Becker Private Equity Podcast. Seventh story we're following today, four of the most listened to guests at the Becker's Healthcare Podcast. Dina Valachi, former president of the American Association of Nurse Anesthetists. Justin Oppenheimer, chief strategy officer of the Hospital Special Surgery, amazing organization. Scott Powder, the former lead of Advocate Aurora Enterprises. And finally, Onisa Steffes, the chief of pharmacy at Northwell Health, the largest health system in New York State, led by the brilliant Mike Dowling. A couple other people there that I'll note, Jessica Cole, Laura Miller, Laura Dierda, Molly Gamble, each of Becker Healthcare, all have very high listen to podcasts as well. Eighth, mortgage rates have hit their highest spot in 25 years. And we'll talk about that more. The 30-year average at 7.57%, simply an amazing number. Ninth, a story in Yahoo Finance today that essentially stocks won't really have a sustainable rally until bond yields come down. The 30-year Treasury is now close to 5%. Next story, GE up 63% year to date. Like AT&T really recovering this year, I don't think anybody would have projected that GE would be doing so well again. Remarkable leadership by Lawrence Culp. 11th story we're following, Bitcoin jumped to an 18-month high yesterday, $35,000. Of course, I should not have sold Bitcoin out when I did. It is what it is. Finally, last story, a few quick stories that we're following at Becker's Healthcare. Henry Ford sees the highest rep rate in 25 years. Kaiser Permanente starts to work towards a new era of patient convenience. And Adventist Health suffers 2 credit downgrades. Those are a couple other stories that we're following at Becker's Healthcare. Lastly, I know I already said finally, but let me get you to lastly. If you want to win the $100 gift certificate, you've got to note this story that you heard. That means you listened all the way to the end. The U.S. deficit rose to $2.02 trillion in the last year. Part of that's due to the markets being down last year, people not having so many capital gains and wins. But part of this is largest deficit ever in the country, I believe, are right there. All I can tell you is with a $2.0 trillion deficit, I wouldn't want President Biden or President Trump running any of the companies I work with. Thank you for listening to the Becker Private Equity Podcast. We'll be back with you later. Thank you very much.